Welcome back. Today we chat with Ruthie Henderson, a conceptual photographer, content creator, and Photoshop wizard. As a full time artist, she creates scroll stopping content that showcases her immersive photo manipulation abilities. In this episode, we discussed her creative journey, starting with her early interest in photography and Photoshop in middle school. She later transitioned to self portraits due to limited model access in Wyoming. Ruthie's breakthrough came in 2023 with a viral dandelion seed photo shoot, which expanded her audience. Now she creates multiple content pieces per shoot, highlighting all the details that bring each vision to life. Ruthie emphasized the importance of balancing passion projects with viral content and how to stay inspired by all things in life while creating within a career that is rooted in social media. I am personally a huge fan of Ruthie's work, and I am so excited to share her story on how I created this. Now let's chat with Ruthie Henderson. I like to start these as just kind of the beginning of your creative journey. Um, it's been cool just watching you for the last, I feel like I've been following you for at least like a year, and just how your creations have evolved in the time that I've been following you online. So I think it'll be really cool to kind of learn more about, how it started when you were a kid and what did you pick up on when you were younger and how that just kind of evolved throughout the years.
Yeah, it is a crazy year. First off, like now, it's been probably the most crazy year of my creative career ever. So getting to watch that evolution has just been insane because it's been crazy going through it, and I still feel like I'm going through it. But I definitely, when I was a little kid, when they ask you what you want to be when you grow up, one of the top things that I said was always that I wanna be an artist, among other careers, like being a tightrope walker, and that was one of the other top ones.
No big deal.
I don't have any of the balance for that, so that just wasn't ever going to happen. But I didn't realize that the whole artist thing was gonna become into fruition because, so I started, like that was, like, when I was, like, really young, like, 2nd grade, but then in early like 5th grade and 6th grade, that's when I started like taking out the digital cameras, like our family digital cameras that were really like small and like junky little point and shoots. But like anytime that I got to use them, I was really excited. But I didn't really identify as a photographer until I was like in middle school because that's when I first opened Photoshop for the very first time. And then everything changed, and then I was like, "Holy cow, there's this whole world of creating and photography." Because like, I feel like at first it was like photography was just taking a picture and then that picture exists. But then once I learned like, oh, with editing, I could take a picture and then make it something entirely new and make it weird and make things that like don't exist in real life. Like I could make people float. I could, oh, I spilled my matcha. Sorry.
Oh no.
It's okay. There was a lid, so, it's
Oh, thank goodness.
mostly there. But, I remember one of, like, the first things I edited was in middle school. I put, like it was kind of mean, but I put, like, my teacher's face on, like, different animals. Like, I was putting them, like, on a gorilla, and it was just, like, me being, like, a dumb little middle school kid, like, "Oh, I don't like my teacher," or whatever.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and, like, so by then, that's when, like, everyone started to know me as a photographer, and then I started, like, seeing myself as a photographer, and then I just became obsessed with it all through high school. It became my entire identity, and so by the time, like, graduation came around, it's like I only know how to do one thing, and that's take pictures, so I guess that's what we're gonna do for my career. So I feel really lucky that, like, not everyone, like, chooses a career in high school and then, like, sticks with that career, but, like, it
Yeah.
was it was kind of was chosen for me.
That's amazing. Yeah, I had like a similar path, but I was like not as believing in myself or that photography could be a career. So I was like, oh, I can always do this, but like my main thing has to be something else. So it's cool that you kind of had that belief and like identified that at a young age, and like seeing you now how it still reigns true is so cool. Um one thing I wanted to ask was like, how did you learn Photoshop? Because I'm assuming that was like a while ago, and Photoshop, in my opinion, I think has gotten a lot easier, and the resources for it is a lot more attainable. You can use it on your phone. You can, watch your favorite creator like yourself just do something and then mimic it quickly. But back then, it wasn't as attainable. So, how did you go through the process of learning that at that time, and kind of what made you want to keep sticking with it, even if it was challenging?
Yeah, so I opened it up for the first time in like 2007. So this was like before generative fill, a lot of there's a lot of AI tools that make it a lot easier, but even just like there, like you said, there's like millions of like tutorials available online. But when I was learning, I was mostly like reading blogs. So there would be lots and lots of blogs that would like kind of tell you like step by step, and they had like the screenshots. And there were some like YouTube creators that were like creating YouTube tutorials, but nowhere near like the scale it is now, and nowhere near like as polished. Like now they're like really streamlined and really polished. But I preferred looking at the blogs because they were like I could zoom through them as fast as I need to. Like if there was a specific thing that I needed, instead of scrubbing through a video that like would felt like it would take forever, or like waiting step by step, pausing the video, then going through it, I could just like read what I needed to know, go back to the program and then like do it. And so that was really hard, but there's this photographer who introduced me to the world of, like, photo manipulation and conceptual photography, and his name is, Joel Robison. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but, like, he was
Mm.
like the first like conceptual photographer that I've seen. And like once I discovered like this world of conceptual photography where it's like um not reality and not, but like if there's still a little element of realism, so it looks like a real photograph, but you know it can't exist because the person's like really little, and like in a little like Thumbelina world, or like they're floating in the sky. Like, you know it's not real, but there's like it looks photorealistic. That kind of combination made it like so exciting for me. And I think that's the biggest reason why like I kept like trying to learn Photoshop specifically so that I can accomplish those like kind of looks. And like even now today, like some of his work, but even just like conceptual photography is like a huge like through line and a lot of my work, and why you see like floating elements and things that just like don't exist in reality, and like in magic.
Yeah, that's so cool. I feel like your art really expresses like your inner child, where you were like, "Oh, I wanted to learn how to make things float," and now like you're doing that and then some, which is super cool. So, when did you start? I know like your primary focus is usually like self-portraiture now. Was that what you were originally taking photos of when you first picked up a digital camera and you started playing in Photoshop, or when did that part of it come into the picture?
Yeah, so when I first started, it was just, like, landscapes, whatever was, like, in front of me, and then in middle school and high school, that's when I started taking pictures of my friends, and
Okay.
I really never intended on shooting self-portraits. It's just I realized that I liked portraiture because I generally like shooting with people, and so all the way through college and high school, I was, like, shooting with my friends, with people I knew, and then I moved back to Wyoming in 2020, and there's not a lot of, like, models that I have access to here. If I do, I have to, like, drive down to Denver, which is, like, 2 hours south of me, to, like, collaborate with other creatives and other models. And so self portraits actually came out of like a necessity of I have an idea and I want to shoot this now and not wait until I can meet up with someone. And so I'm just going to shoot this now. And and so then I just have to use myself. And so it kind of came out of necessity, but I ended up falling in love with shooting with self-portraits because, like, there's no pressure because, like, when I work with a model, it's a collaboration between both of us, and so I wanna do by right by their time and make sure that it turns out
Mm-hmm.
really good, as well as by my time and make sure that it's something that I feel creatively fulfilled by, and so if it's just me, then I'm willing to take more risks, like, if a photo shoot fails, that's fine. This is just me, like, I'm the only person that I could disappoint, and so that was super, like, kind of liberating and what gave me the freedom to, like, really go out of the box and try entirely different things or try different concepts that, like, maybe other people wouldn't be interested in. It's like, "I feel interested in this right now, so let's try it."
Yeah. And I think that makes a lot of sense, just like timing wise, of like 2020, where it's like you can't even go around people that much, but you want to still be able to create and work your ideas out. So that makes a lot of sense. And did you go to college in Wyoming? Did you go to college for art?
I went to college in, Missouri, so that's when I left
Okay.
Wyoming. So I grew up in Wyoming, like, went to high school here, went to college in Missouri, and was there for about 6 years before moving back to Wyoming. And I did
Okay.
go for photography, but I ended up dropping out.
What was just like wasn't worthwhile or
I It's hard because I enjoyed my experience. I went to the Art Institute of St. Louis, and it was a really cheap school. So that was the biggest reason why, like, I stayed for as long as I did, because I stayed for about 2.5, like, I was probably about 6 months away from, like, getting my degree, um, but the school was really small and was on the verge of closing down, and actually, they ended up teaching out my class, so I think the class after me was the last class that was taught by the Art Institute of St. Louis, and so
Oh wow.
it kinda worked out because they were struggling at, like, keeping staff and, like, I felt like I they had kind of taught me everything that I kind of needed to know. Like, I think, um no one school, they like, I never went to a college class that ever taught me anything about Photoshop, like, I had always, like,
Yeah.
knew more than, like, my professors on that. But, the best part was, like, they had a whole, like, tech cage, so, like, all of the gear that I could want, like, high-end, like, lighting equipment that I could never afford, high-end cameras and lenses I could never afford, that was the best, like, part and the biggest reason why I stayed with that school because being able to, like, have hands-on with, like, the best gear was, like, incredibly helpful, and it was a very hands-on, like, class, like because it wasn't a traditional like, college, like, they do it more like a trade school, so it's only a 3-year program, and they go year-round so that you get into the like, workforce faster, but, they really encourage you to, like everything is, like, really hands-on there, and that's why I really liked it, but it was eventually just wasn't serving me, and so I just decided to drop out.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it served you until it didn't anymore. So that
Yeah,
makes sense.
exactly.
So once you started self-portraits in 2020, was there a specific theme or concept where you're like, okay, like this could be my thing, like any project that you were like, I'm so excited about this, like I want to keep doing more of this, like any specific moment?
Um, well, so I started shooting self-portraits, and that's when I started slowly kind of making, like, social media posts about it, like, I was always, like, kind of casually posting on Instagram a little bit, um, and then I was like, "I'm already, like, making these, like, posts, like, let's see if I could, like, make reels," and so I think in, like, 2022 is when I kinda started first, like, making reels about, like, the stuff that I was making, and also 2022 is when I built out my studio. I'm in, like, one of, like, a old bedroom that's in my house, and I, like, knocked out a wall to, like, make a studio. And so that, like, made a huge, like, difference to have, like, a specific, like, creating place. But I think it was it was 2 summers ago, so 2023 is when I did the dandelion seed photo shoot, and that's kind of when, like, everything changed and my whole viewpoint, like, at the beginning, it was, like, me creating, like, self-portraits just for myself and with little peeks into the process on Instagram. And then once I did a photo shoot where I took a bunch of dandelion seeds and I covered my hair with them, and that ended up being my very first viral photo shoot. And then all of a sudden, I had like a platform where now I wasn't creating just for me, but like creating for a community. And that was like a huge shift in how I look at my photo shoots. And then ever since then, it's just been like a roller coaster of everything like changing after that happened.
Yeah, I'm sure. What do you think about your creative process change from going to creating just for yourself to creating for your community? And is there an element where you still always want it to be some part where you're creating for yourself to keep yourself going?
I definitely take longer now. So where normally I all I have to focus on is like the photo shoot and the photo. Now I have to have video of the photo shoots. And so I'm like operating multiple cameras at a time. And even, like, in the prep process, like, I'm setting up video cameras. So now, like, I think not only about, like, the photo shoot, but, like, how a photo shoot story can translate to a community. And there are definitely, like, photo shoots or projects that I'll do, like, I'm doing this because I know, like, there's a high likelihood that this is going to perform well, and that's always good. But I always will still plan shoots that like I do this because I really want to do it, and it's like creatively interesting to me, and it could potentially like flop on the internet, but like it's gonna be like giving to me, and so I still have to like prioritize that. And so I think the hardest part is like finding the balance for that, because it's like the viral stuff is like usually the stuff that like helps make money, and like the passion projects are the ones that just like keep me going, and so it's hard to prioritize time for both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when it's using like the same muscles. So it's not like, oh, this is my job. And so I do this and then
Yeah.
crochet for my passion. It's like, no, it's all the same thing. So it's easy to muddy the waters when you're creative like that.
Absolutely.
Um, so I guess like now that we're kind of up to your current of like not only are you a photographer, Photoshop wizard, but you are also a videographer and video editor. Like, could you take us a little bit through like your process of when do you come up with an idea for a shoot? Do you shoot it right away? Do you plan it out ahead of time? Like, could you kind of walk through like what would be a shoot day in a
Yeah.
day of you?
Yeah. So I always have an ongoing list of like ideas and projects. And it's usually just waiting for the right time or the right project, or I have all of the right pieces before I'm ready to like put them together. And sometimes it's like a idea is like half baked. And then it's not until like I find the specific prop or I find the specific aesthetic that I want to like match to it. That I'm like, oh yeah, like I want to do this now. And so, like, for example, I had a photo shoot that I did with like cattails. I'm like, how am I supposed to incorporate like cattails? Like, what aesthetic do I want to do? And I decided to mix cattails with like Rococo, like French style. And I was like, for some reason that like really spoke to me. And so once like it clicked, then I was like, okay, this is like ready to actually go into like shooting mode. But I would say, let me see, how what's the best way to kind of describe this because it is like kind of a chaotic creative process. Because as much as like I've gotten it into a system, it's also a system of chaos.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that's so cool for like other people to know is like creators, especially like yourself, where you're able to make it your full-time thing, is like sometimes you don't have to have like this perfect plan to get started. Like you just have to have an idea and then execute on it to make something great.
Yeah, and I think part of it is that kind of, like, ADD thing. It's like once you get, like, really fixated on something, then that's the only thing that exists, and so it's like I'll have ideas stewing until they become a fixation, and then when they become a fixation, that's when it's like, "Okay, now is the time to, like, work on this," and then, like, that's all that, like, I'll focus on until, like, the next fixation kinda comes around.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
so yeah, so I'll have the photo shoot idea, and once I have all the pieces ready, then, like, I'll plan, like, my shoot day. And, my shoot day now, like, what now that I'm, like, setting up separate cameras, will usually take, whereas, like, usually I could get a shoot done in, like, an hour and a half-ish because I'm, like, doing everything myself. I have to, like, get up, move, do like 6 things, and then get back in position and then start shooting again. Now it takes probably closer to like 3 hours to shoot, and, um, like, I'll set up my, like, scene. If it's a, like, really, like, uh, complicated, like, backdrop or setup, then I'll try to, like, set it up the day before so that it's not, like, a really long day. And then once I have that, then I'll edit the photo and then, edit all of, like, the video content, and then I'll, like, push it out. But for me, because, like, I'm, like, a big editor, like, it usually takes me at least, like, a minimum, a single hour, like, a whole hour just for a single photo. And so there's a lot of
Yeah.
photographers who, like, they're more comfortable, like, editing on Lightroom, and so they could do a lot more kind of batch edits or just, like, changing colors here and there, and they're able to push out, like, a whole gallery pretty quickly. And, like, I'm sure with you, like, hand cutting things out and scanning and everything, like, it's a time intensive process. Um,
Yeah.
and so the biggest, like, shift that, like, made it so that it's sustainable is now for every single photo shoot, I try to get at least, like, 3 pieces of content out of it, because like, it's probably, like, front to back end, like, but from shooting all the way through editing, it's probably, like, an 8-hour process, and so if I was doing 8 hours for a single video, there's no way I would be able to post, like, as much as I do. Now, I have a video where I talk about the process, the planning process, a video where I talk about like my whole experience with the photo shoot and then reveal the final photo. And then I have a video that is like a 10-second like dopamine hit video where it's just mostly like from this to this and like really, really
Yeah.
short. So like now I'm able to like I'll, like, try to make all 3 of those pieces while I'm already editing it so that it's, like, done, and then, like, I'll, like, schedule it throughout the week, and then it'll, instead of posting, like, back to back, they'll get posted, like, week to week, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. So for the most part, are you pretty much like project by project? Like you work on a project, edit it completely, get the content before you start a new project and concept?
I try to be. There's
Yeah.
been times where, like, the way like, shooting will just line up where it's like, I have to shoot this now because, like, the weather is available or my friend's available to help me on this day, and then the next day, something else is available, so I have to shoot this now. Or if I'm on a trip, then, like, I'll shoot multiple, like, concepts on the same trip. Um, that will sometimes happen where but I try not to have a backlog of more than 2 or 3 shoots. Otherwise, I will never find the time or to, like, actually go back and edit them, and they'll just sit in my, like, hard drive for
Yeah.
so I have to,
Yeah, I
like,
know what you mean.
before I start something new, I have to make myself finish it or else it's not gonna get used.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I sometimes I'll get in like a really like excited like shooting mode or I'll like be on a trip and I'll be shooting all these different concepts and then I'm like, Oh my gosh, I'm climbing Mount Everest of edits right now. Like, it can get daunting for sure. So, like, because your shoots and your concepts like are so conceptual, where do you get your inspiration from?
Mm, so I talk about this a lot because have do you know the band OK Go?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're super
Yeah.
cool. So they have an incredible TED Talk, about creativity because they have, like, some of the most creative, visually inspiring, like, music videos, like, I have ever seen, like, huge,
Yeah.
really, really cool. And so they did a TED Talk about their process, and it's like, they talk about building kind of like a sandbox. Like everywhere they go, they're collecting ideas. They are finding inspiration and trying to get inspiration through life, through media, through like books, social media. And they put all of that inspiration and they shove it into their sandbox. And then when it's time to kind of develop ideas, they just get in their sandbox and then they just play around. What would happen if we mix this idea with this idea? Because, like, at the end of the day, every idea has like the development of a previous idea. Like, there's like jazz music didn't just one day pop out and was jazz music. Like jazz music existed because of like earlier forms of music before it, like classical music and things like that. And so once we take out the pressure of like I have to find like the most unique new idea ever and pull it out of thin air, like, that's, like, a lot of pressure, and, like, there's no way that's, like, sustainable, especially with something that can feel so finicky as, like, creativity. It's like because creativity usually flows best when, like, we're in a really great emotional state, we are well rested, all of these things almost feel like they have to align, for, like, creativity spark. And so if we kind of take out the pressure and allow ourselves to just play, then those ideas come a lot more naturally. And then if you're pulling from a wide variety of things, like if your sandbox is just Instagram, then your content is going to look like a regurgitation of Instagram. Or like if your content is only 2013 Tumblr, then your work is going to look exactly like 2013 Tumblr.
Where's the problem with that? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it is a vibe. Maybe
No,
we should
I'm
bring it
just
back.
kidding. No, I love that. I love that analogy of the sandbox, especially for you, because your art kind of like has that inner child element to it. So even just that thought kind of mimics that idea of just bringing out your inner child. And I definitely see it in your work because I think you have like different things that you almost like personify if it's like boba tea or the cattails, like something from nature or your favorite drink, you'll find a way to personify it and make it more conceptual and you know take just the boba and have that be like the inspiration for the shapes you use and repetition and how like the idea of like anything can inspire you that you can put through your own lens and your own creativity to make something totally your own.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, it's always just, like, just playing around, like, what would happen if, like, we mix this with this? And yeah, and it's crazy that you said, like, you're talking about, like, inner child and stuff because 'cause I'm actually, like, working on a video where, like, I it's like a whole testament to, like, your inner child, and I actually brought my niece out with me, and my niece is playing the character of my inner child, and we did a whole shoot,
Oh my
and I'm ending
gosh.
that, like, right now, so the timing is
That's so
perfect.
funny. That's great. Yeah, it's definitely shining through. So I'm excited to see that. That'll be really cool. Do you have any other like projects or just things that you're working on or you want to work on in the future, whether it be like a new style or just a new endeavor or anything you want to share?
I've had a jellyfish photo shoot in mind for over a year now, probably, like, a year and a half. And I made a whole hat for it. So I finally have all of the pieces. I have the outfit, and that's a project for me where like I've been I don't necessarily expect it to do amazingly well, although I am selling the template for the hat so that people can make it their own. And hopefully like I'll have all that
Oh,
ready
hell
for
yeah.
Halloween. But yeah, so I'm really excited to finally, like, shoot, like, the jellyfish concept that I have. And then I think tomorrow I'm gonna be doing a mushroom photo shoot because 'cause I've done it every fall now, I've done a mushroom photo shoot, and so this will be my 3rd one. And so and then again, I'm gonna do another dandelion seed photo shoot, which normally I have it done by August, so I'm a little bit late, but I'm gonna be shooting I've been collecting dandelions in my yard all summer.
So you kind of the seasonality has a pretty big effect on your concepts as well.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm chewing earth.
It's almost like the your mushroom photo shoot in the fall is like everybody's pumpkin photo shoot in the
Yeah,
fall.
it's true. Wyoming is really, really cold. Like, we have a long winter,
Yeah.
um, and as much as I love to get outside, it's just, like, logistically a lot more difficult to shoot in the cold than, like, during the summer, and so all of my outdoor shoots have to be done within this, like, 4-month window between, like, June to September. Sometimes we get a little halfway through October, but it starts getting cold, like, mid-October, and I'm gonna have to be, like, bundling up for photo shoots after that. So, I have to kinda really, like, take advantage of the warm weather as much as
Maximize it.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get all of my outdoor
Yeah,
shooting
yeah.
done, 'cause then after that, it's like I'm limited to just this space inside of my house, which is great, like, I love, like, that I get to, like, use it, but, I it just it's a lot easier to have that variety of indoor, outdoor when it's, like, summertime or fall time here.
Yeah, definitely. Do you see yourself moving anywhere else or ever living somewhere else
I think I'll
again?
probably be in Wyoming, at least Mountain West forever. I don't see myself moving that far out of this area, just because like, my family's here, and I actually love the winter, I love the cold, and Wyoming is super cheap, for one, and I love that, but I could see a world, like, if I end up having to travel more or need a stronger creator economy, then I might have to, like, relocate to Denver, but, like, that's probably the farthest I could see myself going.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I love Wyoming. I've been like a couple times driving like to Yellowstone and it's so beautiful, especially in the summer. It's amazing, but if you can make it through those cold winters and you like it, then like it sounds like it's meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know it's not for everyone, but, like, because I think I grew up here, that's why, like, it has such a special place in my heart and because like, I can't handle, like, the heat, like, if it's, like, super hot. Because are you in Texas? Is that where you live?
I'm in Raleigh, North
Raleigh.
I
Yeah.
used to live in Nashville, Tennessee, which is can get very hot and so can North Carolina, honestly. But yeah, our winters, maybe we'll get one dusting of snow, and that's about it.
See, I will take 9 months of winter if that means never having to see 90-degree weather in my life.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
we
Well, it
have
was so great
crazy weather.
chatting with you and just kind of like going through your process and just for myself personally, it was kind of fun to pick your brain of like how do you do things differently than me and like how do we do things similar? And I think I talked to the first interview I did was with another photographer, Donnie O'Brien, and they do like Renaissance painting recreations. And do heavy like photo manipulation. So we all kind of do heavy photo manipulations, but we're all doing it in our own way, and the outcomes are so different. So I think it's cool that like, even if you feel like there's so many photographers or people who are working on Photoshop now, we can all do it in our own way. And have our own take to it.
Yeah. I find it so interesting how you yours is so much more tactile, how you're, actually, cutting things out and actually, drawing on things instead of, it's more, traditional art than, digital art, but it's, a blending of the 2, and I think that's really cool, and, I think that's a huge difference, whereas, me, it exists only in digitally. There is
Yeah,
no
definitely.
tactile, process in that, so it's interesting seeing how
Definitely.
different yours is.
Yeah, definitely. That is the cool thing about being an artist and just having these tools, and what are you going to do with them?
Mhm. Yeah, everything's gonna be so different.
Hell yeah. Well, this was awesome. It was so great meeting you. And like I said, I'm such a big fan of like your art and everything that you share, and just like watching you evolve has been so cool over the last year, because like you're just so creative, and I can tell you put like so much time and energy into everything that you do, and like just like being so consistent. So I just really appreciate you taking the time to chat today.
Aw, thank you for having me. I'm glad to finally
Yeah, of
get to
course.
chat with you. Super fun.
Definitely.
That was Ruthie Henderson, a talented photographer, content creator, and photo editor, sharing her stories behind her creative journey on how I created this. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to rate and review the show. And if it resonated with you, share it with a friend. Be sure to subscribe to our monthly zine for exclusive content and announcements. Our artist submission is now open if you'd like to be featured next. Also, check out our merch shop's latest drop. All of this can be found on our website, dopecinema.com. Your support means the world to us, and we cannot wait to keep bringing you more inspiring stories from creatives across every genre. Until next time, bye guys.